Okay, morning everyone. Welcome to the briefing on Wednesday the 30th, nearly the end of the month. Been an interesting month, some nice days and little runs of good weather, but the last couple of days, not been great. And we just been affected by this sort of stabilizing ridge of high pressure. You can see it sat right over Finland and over the Arctic, and it's just drawing in a very slow, light easterly air mass over us. Very, very settled conditions. But unfortunately, that just tends to mean sort of fog and low cloud, really. Might break up today. It's hard to say, really. Varying forecasts, if you look at the BBC, suggesting it was going to break, but another BBC forecast then suggested it was going to break up a bit and just turn into low cloud, which doesn't bode well for us because we're sat on top of a hill. Anyway, as you can see, not a lot of winds, I suppose, are well spaced out in there, and any drift you've got is from the northeast, around easterly and then up here. So wind won't be an issue. If we do fly, it'll be on 09. Perhaps really sort of hedging their bets, really, Farnborough. They're sort of saying sometime today, turning into broken at 200 feet. You've got to remember that Farnborough's nearly 400 feet lower than us. So if they've got 200-foot cloud base, we're in cloud. But they do put in there scattered at 2,000 feet. At some point during the morning, it's turning into that. So that's what the BBC was suggesting, breaking up possibly. Then there's Prob 40 of fog, which you've got now, running into this morning, and then reduced visibility for most of the day. And then as the day goes on, all the forecasts are suggesting late afternoon and the evening, the fog returns again. Winds are fairly light, as you can see, 09, 04 knots, and the upper wind, it's not really a lot stronger. It's sort of more southerly across the middle of the country, easterly, southeasterly across us. 10 knots at the most, I think, looking at most of the forecast. SatPic doesn't really pick up the fog, particularly. It just shows sort of cloud in here, and you think you can see the ground through there. Maybe that'll fill in, who knows. These little sort of blotchy bits here, there are showers isolating themselves around there, and they suggest that they're going to sort of sit east of London for most of the day, popping up at times over us. No forecast rain. Temperature wise, can be feel similar to yesterday, 8 degrees. If the sun comes out, maybe a little bit warmer. Felt fairly chilly yesterday with no sun on the ground. And top meteo, well, that sort of shows, as it says there, sub 500-foot fog sat over us, and that's their prediction at 9 o'clock. And you run that forward a few hours, and it doesn't really change. But this is a better picture than yesterday. Yesterday just remained solid all over most of southern England with the sort of fog prediction. We could be in here in a clear area. Who knows? It's hard to say what it's going to do, but what they do predict is by the time it gets dark, fog coming back again. And a very sort of similar picture for tomorrow, clearing a little bit later. So hopefully it will eventually get flyable tomorrow by the afternoon, and then Friday looks very similar. But by the time we get to Friday, we are into a sort of quite a positive northeasterly flow, colder air, definitely coming in. So today, folks, drinking tea, looking out the window, hoping that we're going to be in one of those areas that does break up and it turns flyable, but the visibility is not going to be great, that's for sure. Even if it does get flyable, it could actually lift from fog into low cloud and sit at a couple of 100 feet, and that's a distinct possibility. I haven't looked at the ascents, but I get the feeling that there's an inversion sat in there that's going to trap a layer of cloud. But we'll see. It's one of those days, just sit and watch. Then maybe, fingers crossed, we'll get something out of it. Okay, if we do go flying, things of note, airspace-wise, absolutely nothing on in the local area. These ones here are just, they've raised the area, the height of the danger areas to the eastern side of Salisbury Plain, but nothing relevant to us. So quiet in terms of airspace, but it has been noted that on the nice days, there's an awful lot of GA traffic coming out and transiting around this area. So be aware of that on the good winter flying days. People are all out trying to get flying and get current. Jet movements, yes. There was a number of flight plans filed yesterday, and obviously nothing happened. So I suspect these were filed again for today. So outbound A320 at 1 o'clock, and an outbound A319 at 14:30, 2:30 in the afternoon. Chucked in the middle is a possibility of a King Air departing at 2 o'clock. So looks like they've got a busy period. If it does get flyable, we'll just have to work around that and figure out how we're going to deal with that. We'll make the most of it. So grass area drying out quite nicely after last week's rain. So hopefully we'll be back to some kind of normal operation or normalish operation that can mean we can utilize the grass instead of having to land on the runway. Okay, so have another cup of tea, folks, and we'll see how it goes as the morning progresses.